Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, Meathead. Man plans, God laughs. When Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, some say it was the worst day of my life. I lost hundreds of millions in the snap of your finger. I can't even snap my finger now. And the shareholders said that it was my fault. I should have known better. You're tight with the Kuwaiti government, which I was. But the CIA, which is no great benchmark of intelligence, didn't know shit. Saddam Hussein had already rolled 200 kilometers into Kuwait by the time CIA got up off their dead ass in their office there. And it changed my life. So things happen. When I was drilling for oil in Peru, back in the day, Colombia invaded Peru. What the fuck? What are you talking about? Colombia invaded Peru. Colombia invaded Peru. And our share price at Great Western went in the toilet, and they kidnapped 45 or 50 of my employees. We had taken care of everybody. We had paid off everybody except the Colombian government, who said they've had a dispute for 300 or 400 years. Colombian government said this part of Peru they owned. I should have known any country in South America that had a Japanese man for their president, something's got to be wrong. They had a Japanese man for president in Peru at the time. So it set our whole plan. I mean, shit happens. It just does. And you can buy insurance for almost anything, but, active nature, you can't. You can't. So, but it set him back because he had to fight for 2 years to get him out then. But he did a terrific job. And his chairman stood by him. Because that was the perfect time for the chairman to cut his throat. The banks would have agreed. The accountants would have agreed. The lawyers would have agreed. And, they would have been out. But the chairman didn't. The chairman stood up for him. He negotiated, more shares, as he would. Again, chairman. Okay. Did I answer the question, whatever it was? Yeah, okay. His chairman returned his call in 2 or 3 minutes, if you remember. I mean, contrary to what you think, because you're nobody. And Peter, of all my success stories, feels the highest level of nobody. He's the highest level of nobody. In his mind. Not in my mind, in his mind. And the chairman responded in 3 minutes or less. Because he had worked 25 years as CEO of an international company, if you remember what he said, Peter, and he retired to hunt in Hungary, blah, 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 but he had no real money other than his pension plan and free founder's equity. You have no idea. If you do it right, now some of you are going to do it wrong and then tell me free founder's equity doesn't work. I know it works. If you can't make it work, it's because you fucked it up. You did something. You showed up in a T-shirt to the fucking me. Something you did wrong. You follow the steps. You show up in your uniform, yada, yada, yada. It's a slam dunk, free founder's equity. And so, but as he said, he didn't pick that chairman first out of the box. He told that chairman he had other candidates. Remember? He used the shotgun method, not the rifle method. And then he went back, and but what he didn't do is use the other 2 or 3 candidates he had for other positions on the board. He didn't. He went and found those. And he used the shotgun method for all his board. All the 6 or 7, I think he had 8. And he had world-class guys. I don't think he had any gals on it. World-class guys. So now you've got this chairman that's got 25 years experience in running an international health company, which on top of it stood up for him and protected him. You want to, like, for those of you that have big brothers, I was the big brother in my family. Big brother would, pull you out, well, supposedly this pull you out of scrapes, protect you, when they're beating you up on the school ground, whatever. I mean, so the chairman has done a good job. And they've had, as I said in that video, they've had some ups and downs. I mean, some, real dogfights. But he's still there. And the board is completely different. Okay, so now you've got this chairperson that has contacts. Now we're going to do a deeper dive than we did the first time through. And he may or may not say, Dustin or, whoever, I know a CEO that's getting ready to step down at such and such a company. It'd be perfect for us. And you say, well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. But it's important to me that I have to build my board. So it's my company. He'll understand. And if he doesn't, then you got a problem, and then you got to work that out with him before you go to the next person that you're going to recruit to the board. Now where do you find these people recently retired, or already recently retired or soon to retire chairpersons? Well, and this chairperson can be from the following databases. One, a Big Four accounting firm. The guy ran the healthcare practice for the United States, or he ran the healthcare practice for Europe, or he ran the healthcare practice for Asia. Okay, it can be the recently retired or soon to retire head of the Oxford Medical School, Oxford University, University of Pennsylvania Medical School. Okay, it can be the retired Surgeon General from the United States military. I wouldn't do the one now, the transgender, cross-gender guy that says he's a girl. But in the years gone by, the person that retires from the military that's running the medical practice for the Army, Navy, whatever, he's got great credentials. It can be a lawyer that ran the healthcare practice for the prestigious law firms. There's a bunch of small universes that make up the big universe, but the important thing in all those people that I just mentioned, all those universes I just mentioned, will have transactional experience, otherwise they wouldn't be there. And you want transactional experience. That you don't have to explain about. Now, when they're in the medical field, they're probably MDs, medical doctors. When they're in the accounting field or law field, they're probably not MDs, although in recent years, he's a lawyer, he ran the medical practice for the big law firm, and he's a doctor as well. So sometimes they have both. They wear both hats. It's not as bad as Germany, where they want you to be here, professor, doctor. But I mean, he's got to have qualifications. Thank you. I have 2 more minutes before. Who's my 5:30 again? 6? 6:30. Okay. Oh, 6. Oh. That's why you reminded me. Anyway, he's 6. Yeah. Okay. The goal is, and you'll see it in the templates, the goal is to get the guy's personal email address so you can conduct business. And when you're on LinkedIn, you get the premier LinkedIn, whatever that is. I don't know what it costs, $150 or whatever. I'm not on it anymore because I've been struck off, as they say in this country. And they respond, and if he responds in 2 minutes, you better respond in 30 seconds. And you'll be surprised. You'll get responses back at 7:30 on a Sunday night. And so your goals are, one, get his personal email address, not his LinkedIn address. Get his personal phone number, and set up an appointment in person. Now, if you're in Boston and he's in New York, no big deal. But if you're in Boston and the best guy or gal is in San Francisco, and most of you don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it off, although somebody told me, I don't know if it's not this group, you can fly from New York to San Francisco for not too much money. I don't know anything about that. But you want to see the fucker in person. Fucker in person. Now, if you get 2 or 3 guys, let's say on the West Coast, or you get 2 or 3 guys in the central Chicago area, then you can set up meetings. And then it's not outrageous to ask them to meet you at a hotel lobby for coffee, and you see 2 or 3 people at a time. 2 or 3 people at a time. And one of the first questions they're going to ask you is, am I the first one? I went through this earlier. And you tell them the truth, no. And then he's going to say, who else? He may ask, who else are you talking to? That's not really, that's privileged information. Now, some guys are assholes, and say, well, if I don't know who I'm competing against, I'm not interested. Thank you very much for your time. And I should say, go fuck yourself. But anyway, you won't do that. But anyway. Or for the fist fighters in the group, you want to go punch them in the face. I'm not condoning anything like that. And so you set up the meeting, and you have a script, like a 3x5 card, the words to say, and you give them your song and dance, and then the words you want to hear out of his mouth. God, that really sounds interesting. Subject conflicts, I'm interested. Not, do I get paid? He may ask, remember I told you, how much time is this going to, am I going to be committing to? In the beginning, very little, maybe 5 hours a month, which is true. And when we get in the acquisition mode, I mean, it could be 15, 20 hours a month, but that's down the road. And there will be no honorariums, meaning money that you get as a board member. There's no travel expenses. There's none of that because we have no money. This is a new startup. And they understand that better than you. And of course, when you go to see them, I mean, you wear the uniform. So the first time he sees you in person, in the flesh, you only have 2 times to make a first impression, you're going to look all right. Then it depends on when you open your mouth. And I assume, I know assumptions involve fuck-ups, that the guys that are going to be doing this in a different language can speak their different language. So not like a clubfoot, But I'm always concerned because sometimes your English is so, not in this group necessarily, are so fucking bad. I can't take the leap that you can speak your regular language normally. I've always been proven wrong about that because Peter, when he first started with his English, I mean, he was like a clubfoot, legitimate. But then he went to English lessons. For those of you that will be doing your business in Spanish or Belgium or whatever, it's always good to be able to speak better English. Now, most of you in here so far that I've talked to, English is plenty good enough. If you're doing it in your language. But now if you're not doing it in your language, then your fucking English isn't good enough and you need to speak better. Your hand was up.
In regards to the uniform, I'm unaware of the differences in terms of how formal it should be. So,
well, no, and two-piece suits. Some of the guys wear 3-piece suits. Would you pass out the closed one? By the way, the things that were passed out earlier, you will opine to and add to your homework. But this is, and I would subscribe, it's free, to this website. Now, a guy's 60-some years old, and now Dan's going to tell me how to dress. Yes, I am, sir. So the 20-year-olds, the guys from in Boston think they invented dress. So, it might be a little difficult to swallow. But the 2-piece suits. Now, in the old days, in the 80s and 90s, now these aren't the right shoes for me to give an example. These are the right shoes because I'm on my feet all day and I need foot support. Goldman Sachs set the standards. 5 loopholes in your shoes. Not 4, not 6. Most of you, buckles are out. Slip-on shoes are out. But anyway, white shirt. If you really feel Vanguard and sexy, pale blue shirt. White shirt is best. No shocking ties. Pocket, are optional. In the beginning, I didn't wear cufflinks. I wore shirts. I used to tell the guys in the United States, the best bang for your buck for dollars was Brooks Brothers, which is now bankrupt. But they've been making suits for Abraham Lincoln and all the presidents. And so you show up, looking like a banker, a slightly better dressed banker, or a Goldman Sachs banker, because Goldman Sachs used to set the standard for dress. Doesn't have to be tailor-made or bespoke or anything like that. And you show up, and you're going to have a little agenda, which you have in your scripts. And it's like a politician that asks you a question. You only have 4 answers. That's it. You don't know anything but those fucking answers that on the script. They're not interested in the Yankees or the Dodgers or fucking Miami Heat. You keep it to script. And the close is a soft close. I didn't do a soft close, but the close is a soft close. A soft close. But there's nothing he should have to think about other than conflicts. Nothing. And these are decision makers. Okay, I'll see the 5:30 in a few minutes, and we'll continue. Yes, sir.
I remember you said that, like in the Army, that when you would greet someone good morning, like it would piss you off.
Yeah. I don't like good morning because all through my Ranger training and all through my OCS, etc. Good morning, Cadet Peña. This is an OCS. Good morning, Staff Sergeant. You like my wife, Peña? How do you answer that? Do you sleep with my wife, Peña? So I still think back to those days. So 2 or 3 of you said the good morning. Kat told me good morning this morning, and she knows this story. Mornings were never good. You don't like, you wouldn't lick my wife's privates, Peña? 20 miles. Go back in and get your full pack, 20 miles. So I have bad memories. But you say good morning. I'm not telling you not to say good morning.
So first say, like you mentioned, to look for like a retired general or someone in that field. So it would be best not to greet him as good morning?
No, you can. You can't. What do kids say now today? Do the kids say, is good morning still applicable? Okay. I don't say good morning to anybody unless they say it to me. Then I say it. But what's good about it, Dustin? Did your wife blow you last night, Dustin? You don't like, you want my wife to blow you, Dustin? 20 miles. 500 push-ups. So I have and the SEAL guy that was here last seminar, he laughed because they still do that. And polite, but firm. And don't shake, some of you shake hands like a fish. Understand what that means? Men's handshake has gone down 28% since 1986, the hand pressure. Women's has gone up 18%. Amber shook hands like a truck driver. You could tell she practiced, and handshaking. She practiced. She knew exactly where to put her longer fingers to get the most hand pressure. And the guys hated her. But she wasn't here for a popularity contest. And she did the first deal. She did the first deal.